Eccoci, siamo in diretta, per adesso parlo italiano per introdurre. Siamo collegati, abbiamo da Atene in collegamento con noi Kostas Kallergis, che è una vecchia conoscenza di Non con i miei soldi e di Banca Etica, un giornalista greco con il quale cercheremo di capire un po' che cosa sta succedendo ad Atene in questi giorni e come ci si sta preparando al referendum di domenica. Da adesso parliamo in inglese e per facilitare il tutto faremo una traduzione alla fine, per cui lasciamo che sia l'inglese la lingua. So, hi Kostas.
Hello, hello Claudia, hello Andreas.
Hi, nice to meet you.
First of all, what's the atmosphere in Athens right now?
I would say if I would be to use one word, I would say that the atmosphere is very polarized and tense. And the entire country has been basically split in two sides, and there's um, a kind of a battle taking place as to who joins which camp. Um, to be honest, we had polarized election campaigns before. We had polarized the periods, but I personally haven't seen such a polarized period in the recent, let's say, 20 years. I can actually see people end up fighting about it in some cases, of course, not always.
But is this the case also with media, like television, newspapers, and among people in the street? It's just the whole country that's polarized between yes and no?
The media, they are not polarized because most of them support the yes vote, but in a very outspoken way, in a very, I would say, as a journalist, unashamed way. The main TV stations, apart from the state TV, are showing from morning till evening different kinds of people who are affected and interviews with politicians or with analysts. They're all supporting the yes vote. So there's a big media campaign that, in my opinion, is one of the reasons that of why the yes vote is now close to the no vote in the opinion poll. Because 3 days ago, the no vote was, I think, more than 60%, close to 70%, and right now they are more or less the same. In actually one opinion poll today, one newspaper said that it's marginally ahead of the no vote. So, in terms of media, in terms of TVs, definitely that's the only that's the angle that they're having. They're in newspapers. Most of them, again, they have the same. They support the yes vote, but there's a couple of newspapers whose audience is leftist, let's say, audience, either Syriza or other leftist parties. And they are the exceptions. I mean, one of the newspapers is the Syriza newspaper, of course. It's not, but there is also another one called the Efimeridatos Intacton, which is supporting the no vote, and they are trying to, in my opinion, fight a lost battle. Because we are talking just about two newspapers, and on the other side we talk about 5 newspapers and 5 national TV stations that from morning till evening they're just talking all about the yes. There are some occasions that have been very ugly, again judging this from the journalistic point of view, not the political one. So, for example, there was I saw last night a scene where they visited with a live TV crew a queue of pensioners outside a bank. And when they tried to speak with one of them, he happened to be, of course, a supporter of the no, and he started saying that I don't mind about the fact that I can only take 120 euros, but I really like the fact that someone is fighting for this country and trying to get a better deal. And immediately this guy was cut off. Even the journalist just did like this with his hand to him, and then they went to another one. So these are kind of I think, really ugly scenes as a journalist. I mean, in terms of media freedom and in terms of journalistic impartiality, these things shouldn't be happening. We have also some, since you're both journalists and you have a special interest in these kind of things, we have some incidents on TV that, in my opinion, are way beyond the logical arguments one can use for the yes vote. So, you know, one can use logical arguments, political or economic, about what a yes and no vote could mean for the country. But to have a high up the ranking of a New Democracy member of the parliament, Mr. Kyriakos Mitsotakis, going on TV and showing like this a banknote of Zimbabwe that says 100 billion Zimbabwean, I don't know the currency. So, you know, having things like that, I think it's a very populist and very dirty level of discourse that you have on TV. And of course, people freak out. You know, it's the unknown. And one thing I can say is that, speaking of discourse, is that the discourse, I mean, this campaign has managed to shift the discourse to something different than what the referendum is. The referendum, basically, the real question of the referendum, I mean, the one you see in the ballot paper, is if you approve or disapprove the measures that were proposed to the Greek government last Friday, Thursday, Friday. So now the discourse on TV is whether we want to stay in the euro or not. And actually, one opinion poll today asked people if they know what is the referendum about, and almost half of the people said that they think it's a yes or no to the euro, even though the government has never said we want to go out of the euro. Actually, the government is saying that even if we end up defaulting, we would like to remain in the euro, or maybe have a new discussion about it, but, you know, definitely not outside the European Union. So people are very scared, and businessmen are very scared. They are not thinking now about the measures that were proposed, and that the vote is about that. They are just thinking that this is a referendum about Europe, about the European Union, and about the euro currency.
You know, swinging from abroad, we also witness a huge pressure from Italian politics and European institutions, and more or less it's the same stuff, the same, using your same word, same unashamed propaganda, in which you're saying you have to vote yes, it's a vote for the euro or against the euro. I don't know how much this foreign pressure coming from most of European countries does influence if it's taken on and on the TVs, or if people discuss also of...
Here, you know, it's everything that serves this campaign is reproduced, is translated and reproduced everywhere. So if someone from Italy will say something which is going to, you know, be something bad about the no vote, it will definitely be reproduced. It will be a headline for a little while until the next statement from the Netherlands or from Germany or from Finland comes, and that is blended together with all the, let's say, the elite of the business community in Athens, in Greece, and also blended with statements of MPs. And, you know, I mean, this is like a joke. We have one of our former prime ministers who was prime minister until 2009, Kostas Kallergis. And he has never appeared on TV since 2009. So for the last 6 years, he has never appeared on TV. He gave only, I don't think he has ever given an interview, and he was on TV yesterday calling for people to say yes. So I think the campaign is very, very well orchestrated and very well organized, and it's enlisting people in its camp all the time, new faces, you know, to give you the feeling that we are becoming more and more.
And is this mixed somehow with an anger with European institutions? Is there still some anger with regard to the Troika, or is all the debate, as you were saying, I mean, if I did understand well, half of the people in Greece are saying it's a yes or no vote to the euro. So this is somehow erasing everything that happened with austerity and the imposition from the Troika, etc. Now the debate is just focused, and it will be worse and worse, I guess, in these 2 days.
It will come when you speak with someone in the street. It will not be the first thing that he will mention, the Troika, but or the institutions, or however you want to call it. But it's going to be the second. But it's still there, you know. The how to say, the disappointment by their lack of willingness to offer a good deal to Greece, to make some compromise, is there. People haven't forgotten it, and especially the ones who are going to vote no. The ones who are going to vote yes feel that it's a patriotic duty to save the country from becoming something, you know, a third world country or something like that. But the animosity against the Troika and the institutions and our partners is still there, at least to the half of the society.
Claudia, do you want to add something?
No, talking about media, we have newspapers here in Italy especially, but almost all over across Europe. They're painting Greece and Athens specifically these days as chaos and no tourists nowhere, and the Acropolis like desert and long queue to the ATM.
There's a long queue to the ATM, but it's not chaotic really. You know, you can use many. I mean, I'm not campaigning for the no vote, you know, but I'm just trying to be as objective as I can and try to basically tell you what I see. So one can see a city that is chaotic and everything is closed and queues at the ATM, and why should someone go there? I see a lot of tourists in the streets. They're having fun, that they see something different. And I mean, there's no security, you know, problem. That no one is getting injured or in danger. It's not like the riots we had in 2011. And you know, one could even say that you know, Athens is right now a city with free public transport, because the government decided that because of the capital controls, that the public transport will be free for everyone until we have a solution. So you know, someone can translate this as a good thing for a tourist. They can jump into any bus and they don't have to worry about the rules of the tickets and how to use them and how much they cost. Or you know, they just different ways to see that. I saw tourists in the demos, and they were discussing with the demonstrators. Some didn't care so much, but they took a photo or a selfie. Okay, hello, I'm in a Greek demo. You know, things like that. But I think that there is no sense for me for chaos. There is a lot of polarization. You know, that's a different thing from chaos. Chaos was 2008 in December, when we had these riots after the assassination of the 15-year-old kid by a policeman. Chaos was, you could say chaos was in 2011 with the indignance. There was, you know, this turmoil and riots almost every day. Yeah, okay, someone can call that, but Athens is pretty calm. I mean, if you go outside, especially as a foreigner. So I'm very surprised that they are reporting this chaos. There can be chaotic scenes outside the ATMs, and especially now with the pensioners that are queuing. So there's a lot of anger and a lot of impatience, and of course they are old people. They cannot stay there for many hours. You know, the nerves. They can, you know, start to be angry and fighting with each other. Okay, but this is we are Mediterraneans. We are we take our emotions outside of ourselves, and we don't have a problem to shout and fight a little bit. But I don't think it's nice, of course. But I wouldn't say Athens is a city in chaos because of that.
So you said, according to the polls you read and the information you have, the no is still on top, but the yes, according to this unashamed media campaign, the yes. So if you had to make a guess, what will happen in a couple of days? What did you say?
I think the yes vote will win.
Really?
Yeah, I can't see how the government can change the tide. You know, there is a trend that began and it was expected. You know, after Sunday, after the announcement of the capital controls, there was a trend of the yes vote going up. I think today we're having the yes slightly above the no in this opinion poll that I read. And I think this trend will continue unless the government decides to do something, to surprise, to use a new argument on the last minute, you know, this kind of thing. But this is Friday, tomorrow there's no campaigning officially. We'll see if it's going to be like this. And Sunday is the vote. So I don't know if there's so much time to do something spectacular to change the tide.
And do you feel a yes vote will be the end of the Syriza government, and both Tsipras and Varoufakis more or less said that they
think
resign?
Either be the immediate end of the government with them calling for elections, because to be honest, it's very hard to imagine them to implementing these measures, even if they have the mandate from the people. It's very hard for me to imagine them to do that. So either it's going to be the immediate end, or it would be the moral end of the Syrian government if they try to implement these measures. Without judging if these measures are good or bad, you always want someone who believes in these measures to implement them in a, let's say, good way. You know, you cannot ask from a. I'm not talking about Syriza now, but you know, theoretically, you cannot ask from a communist to apply neoliberal measures. He wouldn't want either. He would be reluctant. He will not do it in a good way. So, in that sense, I think it's going to be the end of the government.
And what a no victory, according to you, could?
There will be no elections in the next month. Maybe they will announce elections in September. But I don't think this government will last. You know, with one way or the other, it could be with you know, they will lose the confidence of the parliament at some stage. But it will be the beginning of the end, let's say.
Well, we have the feeling that a lot of people across Europe are exactly willingly to have this solution, to have another, more, you know, more positive government, to a more according government, easy to convince, and that they just said, okay, let's wait for the referendum, because with Syriza there's no way to negotiate anymore, and they want a change of government. And it sounds like, yeah, soft coup d'etat we read here and there.
That's, you know, that's the feeling from ground level in Greece, that this government is not the best government in terms of cooperation with the rest of the EU. But the cooperation is a two-sided coin, you know. To cooperate it takes two persons to cooperate. So I think they are judged a little bit more strict than previous governments.
Okay. Don't know if you have other question, Claudia, or?
No, I think it's okay. We can leave Kostas go to his work. I guess he might be very busy these days.
Yes. Thank God I'm busy.
Well, thanks. That was extremely interesting to have your opinion on site, and what's the real feeling, have a taste of what's really happening in Greece these days. Because, you know, as we were saying, you have quite some polarized picture you get on the medias in Italy as well. So having a direct vision on the ground was really interesting to me, and I believe also to our listeners and people seeing the interview.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it's interesting for your viewers, and I hope after everything finished, we have the chance to repeat this with more conclusions.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Andrea, vogliamo fare noi al volo una traduzione?
Sì, un riassunto veloce. A me la cosa che più ha colpito è l'espressione che ha usato una campagna mediatica senza vergogna, unashamed, che dice dalla mattina alla sera tutte le televisioni, tutti i giornali, campagna a favore del sì, intervistano solo persone a favore del sì. Raccontava Kostas che una persona che è intervenuta in diretta in televisione a sostenere il fronte del no, è stato proprio scansato fisicamente dal giornalista, allontanato con la mano dal giornalista, togliendogli la parola per trasmettere unicamente tutto il giorno i motivi del sì. Purtroppo una cosa che vediamo anche un po' troppo spesso da parte delle istituzioni europee, dalle istituzioni italiane, soprattutto, diceva Kostas, deformato completamente il referendum. Ormai metà dei greci pensa che questo sia un referendum sì o no all'euro e non sì o no all'accordo promosso dalla Troica e alle misure imposte dalle istituzioni internazionali, e gente che va in televisione con banconote da 100.000 miliardi dello Zimbabwe per dire faremo questa fine se votate no. Tutta l'attenzione si è spostata sul sì o no all'euro e è sempre più difficile discutere nel merito. Rimane di sottofondo la rabbia rispetto alla Troica, rispetto all'ingerenza, rispetto alla sovradeterminazione, ma la campagna del sì è stata puntata tutta su uscirete dall'euro e sarà un disastro, e sembra che rispetto a qualche tempo fa in cui no erano nettamente in vantaggio, adesso stanno testa a testa, e secondo Kostas è facile che sia il sì a vincere, a meno che il governo non tiri fuori dal cappello una qualche misura a sorpresa per invertire la rotta. Questo mi sembra più o meno quello che è emerso principalmente dall'intervista.
Sì, direi le cose più importanti. Poi gli abbiamo chiesto anche un po' qual è l'atmosfera rispetto a quello che si legge sui nostri giornali. C'era questo editoriale di Fubini ieri sul Corriere della Sera che dipingeva Atene come una città deserta, pochi turisti, l'Acropoli deserta, nessun pullman. E invece, insomma, Kostas ci ha detto che la situazione è chiaramente tesa, però i turisti ci sono, anzi al limite sono contenti per il fatto che i trasporti pubblici sono gratuiti da qui a quando non si troverà soluzione, poiché il trasporto pubblico dipende direttamente dal governo, il governo ha deciso questa cosa, e quindi non ci sono in realtà queste scene di caos che i nostri media qui tenderebbero a dipingerci. Ma perché comunque è in corso una battaglia mediatica non solo in Grecia, anche da noi, per costruire un'immagine di governo Tsipras irresponsabile, incapace, inadatto a gestire la situazione.
Su questo Kostas diceva che qualunque notizia arrivi dall'estero di qualunque persona al fronte del sì, appunto, ogni minuto, ogni secondo, tutte le a rotazione, interviste, immagini, persone, dichiarazioni, quindi qualunque dichiarazione arrivi, ovviamente solo a favore del sì, che arrivi dall'Italia, dalla Germania, dall'Olanda, qualunque paese, viene ripresa e amplificata sui media greci. Chiaramente tutto quello che riguarda il no è totalmente assente dal dibattito. Cosa diceva, al di là di quelle che sono le valutazioni politiche, in quanto giornalista sono praticamente schifato da questa, appunto, campagna mediatica senza vergogna in favore del sì su tutte le televisioni, tranne la televisione di Stato, e su tutti i quotidiani, tranne il quotidiano di Siriza, del partito di Tsipras e Varoufakis.
Sì, e questa cosa dovrebbe farci riflettere tanto anche a casa nostra, dove la situazione non è molto diversa. Comunque ci trovassimo a dover votare noi a un referendum del genere, credo che il panorama mediatico sarebbe grosso modo lo stesso.
Sì.
Quindi niente, adesso vediamo. Tsipras dovrebbe parlare di nuovo alla nazione, non so se oggi o domani. Quindi vediamo che cosa succederà. Nel frattempo, a proposito di terrorismo mediatico, 2 giorni fa, per una buona mezza giornata, si sono rincorse voci che dicevano che Tsipras era pronto ad accettare l'ultima proposta ricevuta dalle istituzioni e che quindi avrebbe ritirato il referendum, e quando invece Tsipras ha parlato alla TV ha confermato che il referendum ci sarà, ha confermato che comunque la trattativa da parte loro prosegue, e quindi se le loro proposte di mediazione vengono accettate non è escluso che si riesca a trovare un accordo. Però appunto a noi l'avevano venduta come un Tsipras è pronto a capitolare, molto lontano dalla realtà. Quindi vediamo che cosa succederà in queste ultime ore prima di domenica, prima del voto, e poi chissà. Bene, io direi che ringrazio Andrea Baranes di essere stato con noi anche oggi, e magari vediamo se all'inizio della prossima settimana riusciamo a fare un altro collegamento di questo tipo per commentare a risultati del referendum. Non so, magari approfitto, Andrea, per chiederti 2 parole sul bail-in. Ti va di dire
sì.
2 cose? Dai, già che ci siamo. ti
Sì, è
sfrutto.
stata approvata ieri velocemente, ieri è approvata alla Camera la direttiva europea sul bail-in, che sarebbe il nuovo meccanismo di salvataggio bancario. Prima vigeva il bail-out, e bail-out sta a indicare che i soldi per salvare le banche dovevano venire da fuori, adesso bail-in perché i soldi devono venire da dentro, quindi sono gli azionisti, gli obbligazionisti, chi ha più soldi sui conti correnti che paga, che sembra un grande passo avanti perché i salvataggi non pesano più sulle spalle del pubblico, ma sono le stesse banche, clienti, azionisti che devono pagare. In realtà parliamo delle più grandi banche, quindi azionisti e obbligazionisti sono milioni di piccoli risparmiatori, di pensionati che hanno fondi pensioni, eccetera. Quindi non cambia molto la situazione di socializzare le perdite. Insomma, chi prende le decisioni sono i top manager. Se gli va bene, come vai a giocare a casino con i soldi di qualcun altro? Se ti va bene vinci tu, se perde un altro a perdere. Il problema è nelle banche, in gran parte rischia di rimanere questa situazione. Il Parlamento l'ha approvato oggi, per carità, il bail-in potrebbe essere un passo in avanti rispetto al bail-out prima, in cui i salvataggi erano proprio con i soldi delle tasse, quindi con i soldi di tutti noi. Il problema è che si continua a intervenire unicamente a valle. Che cosa facciamo? Una volta che è capitato un disastro finanziario, come cerchiamo di raccontare su Non con i miei soldi, tutto quello che è la partita, come evitare che tali disastri si verificano, come evitare che ci siano banche che sono troppo grandi per fallire. Su queste cose non si riesce a fare molto passo avanti in Europa. Purtroppo la situazione al momento è questa e insomma la Camera ha approvato ieri, speriamo che su tutte le altre normative, appunto su separazione banca, sistema bancario ombra, eccetera, qualche passetto in avanti si possa vedere a breve.
Bene, allora io ho tolto il microfono, no. Quindi grazie anche su questo. Noi tra l'altro appunto di queste cose abbiamo parlato, sono con i miei soldi, tra l'altro negli ultimi giorni ci sono 2 articoli sul bail-in, uno di Giulio Tagliavini e uno per l'appunto di Andrea Baranes, quindi eventualmente per un approfondimento sul tema nonconimieisoldi.org. Grazie di nuovo Andrea e alla prossima.
Ciao, arrivederci.